Here we are again with another version of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast. We call it Weather for Weather Geeks and nerds and weather enthusiasts and people who like a lot of detail in their weather forecast. This video is for you. Pretty quiet weather day today, but we've got plenty to talk about over the next several days. First, a quick review of this morning's cold temperatures. These were the temperatures at about 7 a.m. when most places reached their lowest temperature of the day. 33 Boardman, 35 Newcastle, Salineville, Carrollton, Minerva, Alliance, all places that were very, very close to the freezing mark. As expected, we did have a few more clouds up in parts of Trumbull and northwestern Mercer that kept temperatures from getting quite as cold up there. But yeah, some frost out there first thing this morning, and some airport temperatures. It hit 35 at Youngstown Warren Airport in Vienna, 32 at Akron Canton, 32 down at Harry Cleaver Field in New Philly, 34 in Pittsburgh. And notice with the wind off the lake and the clouds around Erie was in the 40s all night. So the lake and some cloudiness can make a big difference. As far as today's high temperature, we hit 53 this afternoon, 1 degree above our forecast of 52. Our latest accuracy streak up to 9. I haven't showed this in a while, but the idea here is that we try to get within 2 degrees of the next day's high temperature in our forecast. For 2018, we're running at a 71% accuracy rate. Again, accurate being within 2 degrees. So, back in the olden days, you may have heard of a 3-degree guarantee from some stations in some markets. So we think we are, far enough along that we should try to be within 2 degrees for the next day's high temperature. And again, 71% of the time we do achieve that. All right, despite 5 consecutive cooler than average days, October's still running 8 degrees warmer than average because of the ridiculous warmth that we had through the first, didn't mean to move that. Let's try that again. Through the first 11 days of the month, we had this ridiculous warmth before the pattern flipped at the very end of last week. So still some enormous surpluses in the temperature department, despite it being very chilly since the end of last week. It was a good-looking day today, a crisp, cool fall day, bright blue skies, great visibility out there today. Typically at this time of the year, we'd expect to see more color on the trees here in Niles and everywhere else, but of course the foliage is running behind schedule thanks to the warm start to the season. We did have some thin, high ice crystal cirrus clouds that thickened up a little bit as we got into the afternoon today. Made for a pretty nice sunset this evening. You can check out this evening's sunset picture from our camera in Boardman on my Instagram and on Twitter as well. I'm Eric WFMJ on Instagram and Twitter. All right, summer has retreated down into the deep south. The only places left in the lower 48 states that are pretty warm compared to average are in parts of the Carolinas, Georgia, southern parts of Alabama, extreme southern Mississippi, and down into Florida as well. It's pretty chilly compared to average everywhere else. And chilly rain continues to fall from northern Texas out through the Tennessee Valley this evening. The high cirrus clouds we had here kind of on the northern fringes of that rain shield down to the south. This didn't want to play for me at 6 either. Our water vapor loop tends to be a little bit laggy today. What I want to show you here, if it ever loads, is disturbance in the upper levels of the atmosphere that we can easily pick out when we look at the mid-level moisture or the water vapor imagery. This is kind of a snapshot of about 18,000 feet in the air, and it just doesn't look like it wants to animate. But if it were animating, you could pick out little spin in the clouds up here. It's going to try now. And this is what's going to come south and east tomorrow. And with it, a cold front at the surface. That'll be enough to touch off some showers, I think, tomorrow, starting mid-morning or so, heading into the afternoon. It's going to turn blustery. It's going to really feel like November tomorrow. Today was a cool but nice day. Tomorrow, the wind's going to kick up. It's going to stay in the 40s, and it's going to feel even cooler, especially when it's raining. Hit or miss showers in the forecast through tomorrow afternoon, maybe early in the evening. So go through tomorrow night. I would not be shocked if a few snowflakes were seen somewhere across the region. I think the highest risk is probably downwind of Lake Erie in western PA, Crawford County, Erie County, maybe out towards Franklin and Oil City. Even in our TV viewing area, I can't totally rule out someone seeing a renegade snowflake or two tomorrow night and first thing Thursday morning. Of course, it won't stick or accumulate or anything like that, but a snowflake in the air, I can't rule that out. Again, especially in northwestern PA. Tomorrow night, early Thursday. Then high pressure builds in. We see an increase in sunshine. Thursday afternoon, still a cool day. I've only got 47 for our forecast high for Thursday afternoon. Friday will be kind of the opposite. We'll start with bright sunshine. Then those high clouds will start streaming in during the afternoon. I can't even totally rule out a shower before high school football is through Friday evening. The better chance for wet weather is coming our way over the weekend. But I had to bust out the wind chill map for tomorrow. Again, our actual temperatures get up to about 46, 47, maybe 48. But the wind chills, let me back this up to mid-afternoon. As kids are getting home from school, the wind chill is going to be in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Again, a real taste of November for tomorrow. All right, some places had a frost and even touched 32 first thing this morning. A few more opportunities for that in the coming days. Let me get my head out of the way here and to show you that while tonight will not be as cold, tomorrow night into Thursday morning, and then Thursday night into Friday morning, Saturday night into Sunday morning, and Sunday night into Monday morning, all opportunities to get pretty cold across the region. So our growing season is just about to come to an end. When we talk about the first 32-degree reading of the season, which typically occurs in mid-October, last year it didn't occur until Halloween, but the 30-year average is a few days ago, October 13th. As you can see, a lot of our dates over the last 10 years kind of are centered around the middle of the month. Sometimes it occurs more towards the end of October, sometimes a little bit closer to the start of the month, but it almost always is sometime in the kind of middle two-thirds of October. All right, let's talk about the longer range briefly here. If you've been watching this video lately, I've been kind of emphasizing the idea that it's going to stay chilly compared to average probably through the end of the month. A day or two here and there where we get up into the middle and upper 50s, closer to average, but the bulk of the days will be somewhat cooler than average, it looks like, through the end of the month. This is last night's run of the long-range European modeling. Of interest or of note here, we may see the pattern relaxing as we go into mid-November. Now, this is a month from now, but there is a decent amount of agreement amongst the modeling that we may be able to get into a different kind of a pattern for a time in November. It may take until the middle of the month, but I don't see many signs through the first week of November, at least, that we're going to bust out of this pretty darn cool pattern. I was asked on social media, is this kind of a preview of the winter pattern? Does October have any correlation to the winter pattern? Typically not. We may be starting to see the emerging El Nino in the Pacific Ocean kind of starting to flex its muscles a little bit as it continues to strengthen, and so I can't rule out that this general temperature regime that we're seeing right now, I can't rule out that this is the general winter pattern as of yet, but I wouldn't want to hang my hat on that just yet. Typically, what happens in October doesn't have a whole lot of bearing towards what happens in the winter. There are exceptions to that, though, and as a reminder, my winter forecast will be out in about 2 weeks, sometime around Halloween, 1st of November. Haven't pinned down a date on it yet, but sometime around Halloween, maybe the first couple of days of November, I'll do my annual winter forecast, really, really detailed forecast. Typically, the video version of that runs almost 15 minutes a lot of years. So I really get into a deep dive, and we'll see at the end of the winter if I spent 15 minutes creating a forecast that will lead to me having egg on my face or not. So stay tuned for that. If you're more of a reader, I'll have a written version on my blog, and we'll do a shorter video for WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app. So look for all that coming up in a couple of weeks at the very end of October, or maybe the first couple of days of November. Have a great night, everyone.